Friday 50 Plus here. I am here with Livia, and we are going to discuss a few things. And at the end of the day, I want some eyes opened, and that you know that the door is open for you or anyone else who thinks they may be closed. Here at Swift Transportation, everybody is loved. How do you feel about that?
I believe Swift is one of the best companies that I've worked with to be myself. There's another company that I worked for prior to here, and they tried to be open, but I've never seen a company in such a manner that is wide open. They don't care your color, they don't care your gender preference, sexual preference. If you're a lone wolf or like me, I have a team driver which actually ends up being my life partner. She is a phenomenal woman, and she actually helps me along my journey, because there are ups and downs for transgender people, definitely with family, and certain environments get a little rough. But hopefully we can shine some light into this industry, not only for drivers, but hopefully for others that are looking to find a way out of persecution, to be themselves and be free to be who they are.
Yeah, you hit on something that I know that I just introduced myself to you, and you may not have followed me on my YouTube page, but I had a student who was gay, and his partner was training at the same time, and I really had a good time with it. We had a lot of fun.
Right.
But we discussed a few things, and one of them was I wanted him to build a page, a YouTube page off of mine, with him and his partner to share their experiences, and know that this industry could work really well. And the reason I thought about that is something you just hit on, and I mentioned it to him, and he was, sometimes you're not free around even family.
Exactly.
To express yourself, but there's a certain freedom in the solitude of the cab of that truck.
There is. So my transition started about 1.5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know the exact date, but most of that time was in secret until my body started forming, and people started noticing. And I wasn't sure how they would react, because I grew up in a Christian home, like a lot of Americans do, that whether it's Christianity, Muslim, or whatever, your family has a belief system.
Correct.
And they raise you on that belief system.
Right.
And with that comes an innate persecution, even if your family ends up loving you no matter what you do. So one thing my dad said is, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I still love you. Me, I thought he was going to disown me, kick me out of the family. I couldn't go home ever again. So it took me till I was almost 30 to start my transition. But I've always known. I've done research for many years about it, and in the back of my head, not saying anything to anybody, was always, I wish I could just be free to be me. And when the company I was with before this, I was basically their spokesperson, telling them the ins and outs, what was wrong with the fundamentals of the company, the issues I was finding within the company, and they were providing me with the state and local laws of what was and was not acceptable. And with that, I shared with HR. I was open, and that's what they wanted, that's what they need, because there's not a lot of us out here in every industry that are comfortable with talking. So hopefully with us talking today, there are more of you out there that would love to share your opinion but don't know how. If you're a Swift driver, call your driver leader. Talk to them. That's who you should be most comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with your driver leader, see if you might need to change from them to somebody else that you could be more comfortable with. It could be with the same group of people. Like I'm Swift dedicated on the East Coast craft team. Phenomenal people. I love everybody running all the way up my ladder. They're easygoing. I believe that's true all the way through the Swift family. But if you have any concerns on being free to be yourself, find freedom, because that's what Swift stands for, is they want you to be you.
Right. That's right.
And that's what I've come to find in this very short time that I've worked with Swift.
Right. Right.
But a little bit more about me. So I grew up in Georgia, one of the most southern states you can grow up in. Just south of Atlanta, about 2 hours. And it's just a little bitty hick town called Thomaston. And we have probably 38,000 people in the county limits. But with that low amount of people, you only go to high school with all 4 grades having 1,200 students. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows everybody's business. Right. So I had to get out of that small town to truly be myself. Right. Because everybody's going to point fingers, and that's not what we want here with Swift. Right. We want you to be who you are. We're not pointing a finger at you. Right. What we are doing is inviting you to be yourself. If you feel the way you feel, we want you to express the way you feel. Right. Now, I'm not saying go streaking up a customer's alleyway. That's not what we want to promote. But be yourself. Right. And enjoy what you're doing. Right.
It's because we're alone a lot in the truck, in your situation and in my student situation, there's somebody who unconditionally loves you that's sitting in the seat next to you, and it just, when you guys are driving down the road, the world and the problems and the stress kind of slips away, and you get the freedom to enjoy yourselves and enjoy each other's company. And I will say that I grew up in a Christian household too. Okay. And we're taught, homosexuality is an abomination and all these other things. But as you get older and you start looking at those people around you that wear that Christian badge, and I'm thinking, dude, what makes you so right? There's several things that you do that shouldn't be. So what difference does that make? And then when I went to started to go back to school and through college, and then I started learning science and biology and all these kind of things, and then light bulbs start coming on. And the fact is, we are who we are. We are who we are from birth, from conception. We don't grow into something that is not natural to us. Okay. Right. And so when I have this conversation with my buddies, and I'll say, dude, was there a day, did a day come in your lifetime where you made a decision to be gay or homosexual? Did that day ever come when you push a button and then your sexual desires only went in one direction? That never happened. You know why? Because you were born attracted to who you're attracted to, and you were born the person that you were born.
Okay, so there's a lot of truth in that, and you are who you are.
Yeah.
But you're also a part of your experiences and what you are out to experience.
That is very true.
For me, I am pansexual, not to get way out there, but I love to be loved, and that means that it doesn't matter male, female, black, white, Asian, Mexican, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Love is love.
Right.
And love should be spread no matter what you are or who you are. If you love, the more you love, the less hate will be in this world and will release a lot of the stress in your life. If you carry hate and something against anybody of anything of what they do, then you're carrying a burden, you're carrying a stress that is going to age you and make you wake up not feeling good.
Right.
And it's just going to spiral. It's going to be a heavy spiral going downhill.
Yeah.
So, from birth, conception, it starts out with a his and hers.
Yeah.
Give you an idea, a little bit of a joke. Gay people don't make gay people. It takes straight people, a man and a woman, to make a gay person. Okay, so you know, gays don't breed gays.
Right.
You are who you are, no matter what.
That's it.
But for transgender, it's slightly different. Gays. Male has the same mindset as a male. Female has the same mindset as a female. But transgender, there's something a little bit different. The transgender population has the brain, full makeup, and it's been medically recorded and studied that a male transgender has male brain and a female transgender has a female brain. And just a little bit of information, if you started out male and changed into female, you're trans female. If you're female changing into a male, you're trans male. Some people don't know that, some people do. That's just a little information. But we don't really label ourselves that way. Most of us, it's either male, female, or non-binary. Non-binary is what I used for a little while I tried to figure out who I truly was, because I held myself back for so long. I didn't know who I was. I was who I thought everybody wanted me to be. And I was on depression meds, I was on anxiety meds, I was taking 5 pills a day just to exist in a mundane, absolute wretched life that I couldn't stand.
Right. There's so many that hadn't made it to the step that you made because of the pressure of society. They've made a choice to just not exist anymore and take their own life because of the amount of sometimes guilt they feel for being who they really are, and or shame or whatever it is, you know. We're all somewhere on the grid, and so to have to live in that type of environment had to be, I couldn't imagine, but I mean, what if let's say you were my brother, and and I thought that you may have some sexual issues that I thought was sexual issues. Okay, how would you prefer me to approach you and say, hey, brother, what's wrong with you? I mean, how does that conversation, should that conversation start? Without being offensive and abrasive, you want to bring that conversation up.
So, let me fully understand the question. it's for somebody that hasn't truly come into themselves to be true to themselves, but you're sensing a little bit of...
Well, I think maybe you knew who you were, what you felt, okay? But I'm your brother. I see something in you that brings up a question. You hadn't, come out with anything. You're trying to, play football in the yard with the brothers and, and all that good stuff, but it's just not in you. So, how would you prefer I come to you?
There's so many different people out here in the world. For me, all of my friends, all of my family knew something was different about me.
Yeah.
From day one, I've had, so many different things in my life that my parents wish they knew about me.
Right.
But I kept it all bottled in because I knew the answers they wanted to hear wasn't the answers that I had.
Right.
So I always come up with the answer, there's nothing wrong, I'm perfectly fine.
Right.
Well, why are you depressed? Why are you having anxiety attacks? Why are you having all these issues? I'm young, don't like life, I don't have many friends, or, it's not that I didn't have friends, it was that I didn't have friends that my parents wouldn't agree with. So my parents saw 1 to 3 of my friends at any given time that were within the standards and constraints that they had laid upon us starting at a young age.
Right.
With those constraints, I didn't know that I could have friends of whatever I wanted. I didn't know that I could be free to be myself. And throughout the years, my dad started out in this very, very strict manner. But as he's gotten older, things have gotten a little more laid back.
Yeah.
And not everybody experiences this. But with that laid back, and I'm talking to my mom, and I threw a little hint here, a little hint there. It wasn't until after, 10 years after my first gay experience with a male, that I finally told Mom, I've had sex with both genders. You hide so much in life and you're afraid because you were raised a certain way. But I'm here to tell you that your mom's gonna love you, your dad's gonna love you, and if they give you an issue right out the gate, it's because they knew who you portrayed for so many years. And it's not quite slapping them in the face, but it's not what they expected. So it takes them some time to think and process this.
Right.
Give them time. My brother still doesn't talk to me.
Yeah.
He says hey and different things, but we don't have that bond anymore.
Right.
And he doesn't accept that I'm going through these changes and I'm using female pronouns.
Yeah. As the conversation goes on, I'm not gonna, my intention isn't to cross any lines, but I do want you to feel free enough to help educate. And where I would like to talk about is that change. I would like to know, somewhat of the process, that you're having to go through to become who you are. I'm sure that a day came when you say, okay, enough is enough. I'm ready to become who I'm supposed to be. And so how do you do that? So is that your Bible leader?
No.
Okay.
So with my change, I started out researching self-medication. And I had a friend, his name is Tony, and he's gay, and he has friends that have went through the changes I'm going through. And he begged me to go see a doctor. I said, Tony, I can't find a doctor. He said, well, how hard have you tried? I said, well, I've looked around here. He said, you can't look around in this little bitty town to find a doctor that deals with our population. He said, you've got to go to a bigger city. Go to Atlanta. Search the internet. You ain't got to drive around and waste gas. Search the internet, and a lot of your urologists and things may know somebody. There are, I forgot, therapists. You're going to have to get hormone therapy letter from your doctor, from a psychiatrist anyway. So go see a therapist that handles this, that runs through the WPATH system and follows those guidelines. Those guidelines are there for our safety. So we're not just giving whatever to sell whatever and make the doctor some money.
Okay.
But it's there to make sure we get treated the same as everybody else, and our standards are the same as your standards.
Okay.
So of course, you're not going to go to the doctor and get the same meds I am.
Right.
But those standards make sure that when I go to the doctor, that I'm not put on a wait. When I had a 9 a.m. schedule, my schedule is kept just like everybody else's.
Right.
If yours is delayed, mine's delayed.
Right.
So the doctor takes a couple tests, blood, urine, miscellaneous things that they need to have to see where your current endocrinology levels are, which includes, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, and there's a few more that they check on. That's their baseline. And when you go in for your baseline, they're going to try to get you set up with a few medications to start. So when you come back, they can see where that baseline's moved to. Okay. And they will adjust the medication from there. Right. You have several options. I take a shot once a week. Okay. It's either my right leg or left leg, and it swaps. And that's just nothing but estrogen. And I give the shot myself. Needle's about that long.
Oh. Am I ready to pass out already?
Then I take 3 pills that one blocks testosterone. I have less testosterone in my body than any of those females out there on that floor. I have less testosterone than any female.
Wow.
And that's what's really going on, is they're knocking out testosterone so I can re-go through puberty and my body can grow the way it needs to. That's why my face is broken out a little bit. You can see a few bumps and stuff here and there. Okay. That's because I'm going through my second puberty. Okay. And this will go on up to and not restrained by 6 years. It's just their average. Wow. For this whole change to take place.
It's average for a person to go through the transition 6 years?
Sometimes they continue changes all the way up to 11 and 12 years.
Oh my God.
So there's a few things that happen. Of course, you can see up top. That grows.
And that's natural. There's no implant.
I've not been cut. You'll see a scar here. That's where I had a cyst removed that was growing underneath. They need to make sure it was benign. Right. I've got scars over here where I ripped 3 tendons in a rotator cuff. Okay. And none of that's related to the way I look. The way I look is a little feminine, but still has that masculine trait still in it. Okay. I can pass as a woman at this point. A year ago, yeah, that's a guy, period, But that's because the body is starting to restructure where and how it holds the fats. The traits in your body that pronounce I'm a guy are because of masculine traits. Your cheekbones, man and a woman's cheekbones are different. The voice is not going to change for a transgender female. We will keep the deep voice until we have it surgically changed, or we do what's called vocal therapies. With vocal therapies, you learn to use your voice at a higher pitch, and it's just like any muscle. Once you use it enough, it becomes more of a natural reflex.
Right.
Look at things like karate. I mean, you get faster once you make certain motions thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times.
Correct.
And that's what those are the two ways to change your voice. Me, I've been falling behind. I've got a high pitch I can use. I've just been so lazy about it. It doesn't bother me, and I like the surprise factor sometimes when I walk up to people and they're like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" "Oh, I'm doing pretty good."
Yeah.
So,
oh, ouch.
they're like, "Give me a wait." It's like seeing a dog and you walk up to pet it and
it yells. Like, what the? So I mean, obviously, you know, as your body goes to the change, you know, you get that kind of reaction, and it's a natural reaction. Not meant to be offensive, but does it? I mean, does it? Do you look at it like, hey, that person noticing that it's working? I mean, so, how would that feel to you? For a second there. Okay, so we're talking about the truck stops.
Yeah, okay, and truck stops, they're getting more and more comfortable with people like myself, or transgender male, or trans male, however you want to call it.
Right.
They're getting accustomed to seeing us.
Right.
And so you're not having to explain yourself as much.
Right.
Larger cities, it's seen everywhere. So it's common. It isn't until you get in the farmlands and these small little towns that you really get the eyeballs.
Right.
But, you know,
I've been surprised, you know, that the reaction that you get in truck stops. If you know, I mean, I know I'm a straight up dude. I'm a straight guy. So when I see, you know, a transgender person walking in front of me, I'm going, you know, wow, you know, I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out, you know, what's going on there. But it's never, you never get the feeling I'm fixing to go out and harass that person.
Right.
And you just never get it. And you expect a truck stop, a space that is testosterone driven. I mean, that's why we're there, because we like those big machines that with all that muscle. We like that.
Okay.
It's a guy thing, and you would think, okay, if you are gay or transgender or anything other than us,
a masculine guy,
you're gonna get hammered, and it never happens.
So what you're seeing on Facebook, if you see these posts, are literally less than 1% of the population. These people are so uncomfortable with the gay and lesbian and transgender population that they've got to lash out at them. Most of the people out there don't care.
Right.
My doctor, he's straight. He's got a wife and kids. And he'll tell you the most beautiful women on earth are the transgender women. Once they get fully through their whole process, they glow brighter than a pregnant woman. They're just radiant.
I think it must have something to do with the fact that they come into this world and spent enough time being something that they were not happy with, and then they eventually become who they feel they should naturally be.
Right.
And it's aura of freedom that's helping them blossom.
So a little bit of a comparison there. This body is a vehicle.
Right.
that you don't get to choose what you look like and everything, what you come out as.
That's right.
But you go to the car lot and you can either choose that really nice hopped up red convertible, get the top drop down on a Friday night, running down the drag. You got these people looking like, yeah, I want to hop up with that.
Right.
And or you can choose the station wagon that's been around the block way too many times. Which are you going to choose?
Right.
So for us, we're given the station wagon. We may be some of the nicest looking people, but in our eyes, we're not. It's not what we see. My girlfriend believes that I was a very handsome male when I was pronounced male.
Right.
Me, I didn't see it. I was not happy with it. I didn't see the beauty in my body. To me, it wasn't there.
Right.
As things are changing, I'm seeing my cheekbones are changing. Is changing.
Yeah.
My backside has changed a little bit. It's doubled in size. I mean, I'm filling out a female body through what I'm doing. And this is putting me on a path where I am happy to look in the mirror again and see who I am. For the longest time I didn't. Bathroom, look down at the sink, brush my teeth, put my deodorant on, and run back out because I didn't care to look in the mirror.
Right.
Now, I'm like any supermodel. I got to look at myself because, damn.
You changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Those changes are just right along where I need to be.
And that's what it ends up happening when you've completed the entire transition. I would imagine that what you see helps you to glow and be happy.
Right.
You know, and you know, I don't want to keep it too long, so I'll say this, and then I'll let you have the last word. That, you know, from a straight dude, you know, I just, you know, I have no care in the world how someone else chooses to love, okay? Because it has a bearing on my life. But what does have a bearing on my life is if the people around me are happy or not.
Right.
Okay? And so I prefer you to be happy. That's it. Just be happy. Because if you're happy, then that makes me happy, you know? And
That's
so
true.
whatever it is that goes on in your life that makes you happy, I wish you all the luck and all the success to get that done.
So for all of you out there, there's truth behind hate breeds hate. If you come into work and you've got a sour attitude, you're going to bring everybody else down. But if you come into work and you've got a smile on your face, a joke in your pocket, and just happy-go-lucky, even if you have a minor amount of time where you're having a bad day, you've already lifted up the people that you have interacted with, and they may be able to lift you back up.
Correct.
But you come in with a sour attitude every day, they're not going to be there for you.
No.
But if you're the happy one, and you come in and you breed happiness in your home life, your social life, and your work life, the people that are happy with you being happy will see that you remain happy.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time as well.
And if any of you guys out there, and gals, transgender, gay, straight, whatever you are, wherever you are, we're all somewhere in the grid. If you want happiness, you want freedom, and you want to be able to come out here and burn some fuel with us, understand that coming to Swift Transportation, you will be welcome.
Every step of the way. If you have a CDL or if you don't, they'll accept you in the school, they'll accept you in the company. They gave us a 2020 truck to drive. Now, that wasn't the first truck I got, but they're going to give you a fairly new truck.
Right.
My truck start out was a 2016.
Yeah.
That's only 4 years older than the one I've got now.
Right.
4 years, that's practically a brand new car. I have never owned something that new.
Right. No, I was going to say that same thing. people always call me. They say, "Hey, 50, if do they give brand new trucks to the incoming drivers?" Well, you know, it kind of depends. On the situation. I don't know. Generally, they try to put team drivers in a new truck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's for a purpose because we put so many miles. As a mentor, I put a lot of miles on the truck.
Right.
In a very short period of time. My truck is brand new, man. I had it very long. It's already 50,000 miles. It don't take long. You know, easy a little over 100,000 miles a year. Okay, but I always think about it. I was going, well, they might put you in 2016. 2016. I'm thinking they own car probably not even a 2016.
Right.
I don't know 2016. What? You're driving a 2005. What are you talking about?
I'm driving a 99 Ford F-150. That thing needs some tires. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so you get a 2016, you're thinking, damn, it's Christmas. You know?
Right?
All right, man.
Thanks for your time.
All right, see you guys later.
This is Autumn, and I'm a recruiter here at Swift Transportation, and I would love to help you get your trucking career started. Please give me a call on the contact information that is going to display at the end of this video. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then there's also a cell phone number you can text or that you can call if for after hours. I look forward to speaking with you. Just please make sure that you contact me before you do any inquiries online or call Swift at all. That way I can make sure that you are taken care of and I'm your recruiter.